A couple of spins that have been put on the Speaker's decision, including one by the Republic newspaper this morning, that the Speaker has virtually accepted the decision of Parliament, of the court in his ruling. I'll let my producers get that paper for me because I like to refer to it. Exactly what they are reporting as the decision of the Speaker. And your own understanding. This is the Republic newspaper. Bagbin shuts Parliament as he yields to Supreme Court orders. Was that the understanding of what the Speaker of Parliament did yesterday?
Well, I think the question is, did the Supreme Court order that Parliament should be shut down? That's not the order of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court didn't say that Parliament should be shut down. So, if Speaker decides to close Parliament, adjourn indefinitely, how can you read that to mean that he's implementing the decision of the Supreme Court? So, I don't know which country they are living in, because where I am, I didn't hear that the Supreme Court said that Parliament should be closed down indefinitely. Same way, I also didn't hear Bagwin comment on the Supreme Court directive. He didn't say anything about the Supreme Court directive. He just communicated that there's a matter in the Supreme Court and he has been served. Whether he accepts what the Supreme Court has said or he doesn't accept what the Supreme Court has said, he hasn't said anything about that. And we in the majority NDC CAUCUS take a position that unless he gives a clear directive, we'll continue to act on the understanding that his statement and communication to us that those 4 seats are vacant will stand. And that changes the configuration and the power balance in the House. So nothing really upsets our position on the matter that we have consistently asserted. So we're fine with whatever has happened. Like we said, we only listen to Speaker Bagwin and what he says.
There's a suggestion, because yesterday your colleagues even walked out of the House even before the Speaker took a seat. They wanted, and I guess you witnessed, you were in the House, so you know what happened. We saw them actually sitting with you because they insisted on sitting on that side of the House. The suggestion by their leader, Afenyo Markins, is that it is the clerk who decides who seats where, and the clerk had indicated to them that they were still recognized as the majority. Did you get that indication?
The clerk does not have the capacity to state who is majority and who is minority. The clerk only puts the name tags. What do they call it? The clerk only puts the name tags on the chairs. And so we didn't wait for the clerk to act. We acted on the basis of the communication to us by the Speaker. And they anticipated that. So they were there at 4:30 a.m., you know. They were there at 4:30 a.m. And then we also acted according to a communication we had received from the Speaker's office that he was putting in place some security measures and he will not open the doors until 8 a.m. So if we had gone there earlier, we will not be allowed in. So we didn't bother going there before 8. Even those who went there hung outside the tent and waited till 8. And even the MPP chief whip who went in, when the security detail came, they walked them out and they swept the place and then locked the place and waited till 8 when all of us were now allowed to go in together. And they went and sat on the right-hand side. We also sat on the right-hand side. And we didn't want it to be violent or acrimonious so that people would say that members of parliament are behaving in an indecent manner. So we all sat peacefully on the same side. We were sitting there actually chatting and joking with each other in a very jovial and friendly manner. There was no violence. There was no violence at all because we noticed that the country was tense and people thought we were going to go there fighting. No, we're going there to assert our position on the matter, and you can assert your position without necessarily being violent. So we sat there. If they also insisted on sitting there, we're not going to physically lift them because it's not our job to lift people out of their seats. But we say we'll sit on the right-hand side because we are the majority. If they also insist that they are the majority, also come and sit. We'll all sit at the right-hand side. And then the speaker will take a decision on that if it is a matter in contention. So that was really what we sought to do yesterday. As for what the clerk may or may not have told them, that's a business between them and the clerk. We don't care what the clerk told them. We don't take instructions from the clerk. So that is it. I mean, they could have sat and they could have raised the issue on the floor. We could have debated it once again and then called on the speaker to give directions. But they didn't. They ran away. So we remain seated on the right-hand side because, like we said, we acted on the communication of the speaker on Thursday. That communication has not been varied. To the extent that it has not been varied, we remain numerically the largest caucus in the parliament. So we are the majority. They went to court. The court said certain things, served the speaker on Monday. The speaker came, didn't say anything about whether he is respecting or not respecting what the court said. Just said that he's been served. And we have the numbers to do business, which is what we continue to do. But we had no number to do to take a decision. And the people who are pursuing government business have left. So there's no business to really transact. We, on our side, plan to do certain businesses, but the businesses were not ready. For instance, we plan to put in place a process leading to a repeal of the e-levy or reducing the e-levy. We plan to bring a bill to deal with the question of repealing or reducing the betting tax. A number of things that we had planned to pursue as our business. But you see, we couldn't have even done that yesterday because our standing orders sets out certain processes that you must go through before you can even bring those businesses to the House. So if you want to bring a private member's bill, which is how we would have proceeded, you would have to get the legal department of Parliament to draft a private member's bill for you. Then you will have to subject your draft bill to stakeholder consultation. It's all in our standing order, so you cannot bypass all those things. And then on the basis of that, you will then get Speaker's authorization to lay the bill, and then you take it through all the processes. All that we haven't been able to do, so our business was also not ready. Government to its side had vacated the House since Thursday. So what do you expect the Speaker to do? It looks like those whose business it is to pursue government business were not interested in pursuing government business. Afenyo Markins was only interested in his position as a purported majority leader. That is all that he's interested. He's not interested in government business. Yesterday, I heard him on City saying that government had, transferred 7 million Ghana cedis to Parliament, or the 70-something million Ghana cedis to Parliament to support this recall of Parliament, and so government money had been wasted and etc. When there's a recall, we waste money. But then the problem is that you deliberately prevented government business from being conducted, because the businesses that government had yesterday could have been conducted with Afenyo Markins sitting anywhere. He could have gone to sit at the minority side just so that he can have government business conducted. So he is prioritizing his own ego and portfolio higher and above government business. And I expect government to be taking him on. That, the most important thing is our business. You say you want to do so many good things. You can do them sitting from either side of the house, because we're not about to take a decision. The day that we're about to take a decision, who even tells you that we will oppose everything that you come and say you want to do? In the past, even when we were in the minority and knew that we will not succeed, on principle, we opposed certain things, knowing very well that we will not succeed because we didn't have the numbers to prevent it from happening. But we stated our principled position. And yet there were things that you didn't even have numbers in the chamber, but we didn't object. We allowed it to pass because some of your members are ministers and they will not be there. But then it is government business that we don't object to. So you could have sat there and pursued government business while still pursuing your case about your claim to being majority. So it is Afenyo Markins who disappointed the government by prioritizing his personal, claim to being a majority leader.
But he insists that there are two things two things. First, the law is on his side, that he has a stay of execution from the Supreme Court. Secondly, that what you were seeking from him, based on your action, was that his side should come and clash with you.
Oh, I don't think so. When they came, and we also came, did you see a clash? Did you see anybody touch anybody? We all sat together on one side. And we were talking and chatting and waiting for Speaker to come. So if he had brought his side, they would have joined us to sit there if they claim that they are the majority. And the business will go on. The Speaker may decide that he wants to take a decision on that. And that would have given him an opportunity to press home his claim. And then we will also press home our claim. And Speaker would have had to make a pronouncement again based on his earlier communication. But, he lost that opportunity by running away.
So you're suggesting that if he was in the House, if they were in the House and they had been sitting on the same side as you, to have afforded the Speaker the opportunity to make the decision they were looking for?
That's my thinking. It's not a definite position because I'm not in the mind of the Speaker to know what he will do. But if I am Speaker and then a matter like that comes up, maybe I will say, okay, let me resolve this issue once again. Do you understand? But, you choose to run away and you're the one who has government business that you want to prosecute. What do you expect the Speaker to do? You are not interested in your business. MPs are busy campaigning their constituencies to retain their seats. You force them back, and you are not expediting the processing of government business so that we can finish quickly and people run back and pursue their campaigns. If you check, the NPP MPs were not even there. You check the number that followed him into the chamber. They were not even up to 30. So his own members are busy in their constituencies campaigning. They don't care about what is happening in the chamber and all that. Nobody is willing to follow Afenyo Markins on a frolic of his own and doing the things that he's doing. So he didn't even have the MPs to come and support him. That was the fact. So I don't think that the Speaker did the wrong thing by adjourning the House. And I don't think that adjourning the House means that the Speaker, is conceding to what the Supreme Court has said. No, not at all. On the contrary, I think that Afenyo Markins lost on all sides because he's lost the opportunity to pursue government business. He's now hoping to recall Parliament. Let's see how that turns out.
And if he does, if because of course there's a constitutional provision that allows him to just get some signatures of those on his side, and then force the Speaker to recall Parliament. If that happens, I guess you'll be forced to return.
Let's see.
In the meantime, I don't know what you know about, because there are speculations about the fact that the Speaker is challenging the ruling of the Supreme Court. Do you have any information on that?
I don't speak for the Speaker, so let's wait.
I see. But let me conclude then by asking you. You talked about the private members bill. You said you wanted to initiate it. Do you have enough time to do all that? Your proposal?
Well, there are processes in the House that enable you to expedite matters in the House. We'll exploit all those processes.
So if they succeed with their recall, you would also go back to that?
We will be the majority until the Speaker says otherwise, and we will use our numbers to address these issues that we have consistently objected to, which is the passage of the electronic levy, and then also the passage of the tax on betting. These are key matters that we in the NDC have strong objection to, and given any opportunity, we will repeal them.
And I'm guessing this is having an impact on your campaign to retain your seats.
Definitely, being kept away from our constituencies, is an unpleasant thing at this time. But, those are equally constitutional obligations when the Parliament is called to come and then represent the same constituency. And then also, we have a national obligation to exploit any window of opportunity to alleviate the suffering of Ghanaians. So if they recall Parliament, there's an opportunity to come and fight and repeal bad tax legislation. Why not? After all, we are seeking power so that we can make the lives of Ghanaians better. So if there's an opportunity to do that now, and you are not seeing taken advantage, then clearly you are not committed to making the lives of Ghanaians better.
Finally, were you surprised by the Speaker's move yesterday? Because there are those who suggest that he dribbled everybody. Everybody was expecting him to make a comment on the Supreme Court thing, that his move was one that none of you anticipated.
Well, for me, I don't speak for the Speaker. Like I said, if he had come yesterday and said, on the basis of the Supreme Court's directives, he is complying and this and that, we in the minority will obey him. It is just the Supreme Court that we say is wrong, and we believe that what they did is unconstitutional. It overreaches the powers of the legislature. It shouldn't be tolerated. And I believe that without saying so, the Speaker did not tolerate them.
Honorable, thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
Honorable Mahama Ayariga is Member of Parliament for BAWKU Central, speaking to us this morning on what transpired in Parliament. Like he indicated, so they have already picked up hints.